My name is Elena Vasquez. I'm 35 years old and work as a project manager in tech. I used to think family barbecues were all about smoky ribs, cold beers, and stories that stitched us closer. But truth slammed into me like a summer storm. Just last month at our backyard grill in Austin, my brother suddenly yanked my brand new laptop right off the picnic table. He grinned wide and sneered, "This is just some budget knockoff for wannabes." Before I could blink, he smashed the screen with his heel and kicked the pieces back at me like junk mail. My parents howled with laughter, their chuckles rolling over the mesquite smoke while I stood there, gut-punched and silent. Not a single sorry, not a flicker of worry. All this, even though I'd been wiring $800 every month for his coding boot camp at Austin Tech Institute, plus chipping in for half their rent, road trips to the hill country, groceries, AC fixes in that brutal Texas heat, everything. And that's the thanks. Straight-up embarrassment under the string lights. But he kept going. He leaned in, voice booming for the whole crew to catch. "Elena's too cheap to gear up for real." My folks bobbed their heads, still chuckling like my self-respect was just another bill I owed. That instant sparked something fierce in me. I wasn't only wounded. I was over it. Overplaying their endless cash machine. Over-choking down their shade. Over-giving my all while they roasted me for sport. What I pulled off after that, it flipped the script for good. And trust me, they didn't have a clue. Before we roll into the thick of it, hit the comments. What time is it where you're tuned in, and which spot are you calling home? I want to map out how wide this tale's spreading. The hush of my Austin loft wrapped around me like a shield that night. The BBQ's burn hadn't cooled, but it propelled me now, shoving me toward a move I'd dodged for years. At 35, I'd hustled my way into a steady gig managing projects in the tech scene. My Austin days screamed hustle and heart, long hours under the Bat Bridge glow, grinding reports till dawn. But to my family, I was just the tap they turned on for easy flow. I'd pumped $800 a month into Liam's boot camp at Austin Tech Institute, a hustle he wore like a badge while I juggled their rent shares, those weekend getaways to Fredericksburg wineries, endless grocery runs, even Dad's truck tune-ups after those pothole-riddled drives. Liam, 29, blew my bucks on flashy setups, his TikTok bursting with clips of VR rigs and roadster rentals, all while shading me as the basic one. Mom and Dad, they never batted an eye. Their nods to his antics felt like backhands across the table. I snatched my phone and dialed Riley, my ride or die, craving her straight-shot take. "Elena, they are draining you dry," she fired back, her tone slicing the midnight hum. "Liam struts like your wallet's his birthright, and your parents greenlight it all. You're not the help." Her truth hit like a cold front, dredging up the hits I'd taken, nights glued to my desk for extra pay, ditching live shows at ACL to float their tabs. Riley held nothing back. "You've poured in plenty. Slam the door, or they'll never clock your value." She tossed in that memory of me bailing on a solo hike to cover their lease, only for Liam to parade a fresh drone cam. "Stake your claim," she pushed. I hung up grateful, her edge anchoring me, a blaze kicking up in my ribs. I fired up my tablet, banking app glaring back. The display lit up with Liam's bootcamp pull, $800 queued for tomorrow's hit. My thumb ghosted the cancel button. Mom's old lines about blood being thicker echoed, laced with that pull. Dad's grunt whenever I'd nudge for balance. Liam's cockiness looped, not just the barbecue smash, but seasons of him grabbing without a nod. I tapped cancel. The ping sang out like a lock snapping shut. A rush hit me, crisp and electric, but a shadow of second-guessing trailed. Would their storm break me? Would shame yank me under? Nah. I shoved it down, zeroing in on the real. I wasn't they force it no more. The loft's quiet cranked my steel. Axing that transfer, bigger than bucks. It was me claiming my space. I'd bankrolled Liam's showboat years, fed Mom and Dad's blind spot for his shine, all while they wrote off my grind as standard. I envisioned Liam's face when the Institute's email dropped. His high-roller bubble popping. Mom and Dad raging, their cozy family facade cracking wide. A sly curve tugged my lips. I'd been the rug they wiped on too long. Not anymore. My phone hummed. Mom, sniffing the shift. I let it ride, the quiet roaring louder. This ran deeper than dollars. It was dignity. And I was finished chasing scraps of it. I paced the hardwood, lighter than air, like I'd ditched a chain I'd forged myself. Every cent to Liam, a bid to dodge the fight. but it had stripped my spine. Riley's echo thumped, "You rate higher." "Spot on." I flashed on the times I'd zipped it as Liam hyped his latest score or Dad shrugged my input like dust. Over. The clock slipped past 1, each tick carving my fresh oath. Liam would eat the cost of his big head, and Mom and Dad would taste their tilt. This was my hour, my boot in the dirt. Come what may, I'd meet it with a grit they'd never guessed. 2 weeks on, my phone flared with Dad's contact. I was deep in my Austin office, the low buzz of fans and cursor clicks humming, dashboards flickering on my dual monitors. The stretch since I killed Liam's boot camp wire had been a stealth uprising, a load off my shoulders that still hummed sweet. I'd ghosted my parents, and the breather? Pure gold. But Dad's ring cracked that vibe. I picked up, bracing like rebar. "Elena, what in blazes did you pull?" He bellowed, gravel in his throat. Austin Tech Institute rang today. Liam's out, tuition ghosted. His spit flew blame like shrapnel, painting me the outlaw. "That boot camp's his shot," he ground on. "How'd you screw it up?" I held the line, his fury fizzling in the void. "Patch it, Elena," he barked. "Sisters step up." My reply came cool, edged. "Dad," I yanked the wires. "Liam's not earning my cash." A beat stretched, taut. Then he cracked. "Ungrateful. Blood looks out for blood." The jab pricked, but it was recycled noise. He'd always figured I'd shoulder the haul. "No IFS." I clicked off, lungs steadying, but the line lit again. "Mum. Elena, how could you sink Liam like this?" She dove in, hurt and fingerpoint sharp. "His crushed. You've torched his path." She rallied for him like I hadn't logged years greasing his wheels. "Liam's poured sweat into that program," Mom swore. "You're ditching us." I clutched the device, the lopsided burn flaring. "Mom, Liam played me dirty." I cut in, frost in my veins. "I'm 35. He's 29. Time he mans his load." Mom sucked air, then swerved. "You've always envied his spark," she slung. "This ain't our teaching." I eased into my chair, eyes tracing the exposed beams overhead, their lean exposed raw. They'd blanked the $800 I dropped monthly, the side gigs I chased to bank their hill country jaunts, AC blasts, Dad's truck fixes. Liam splashed my funds on toys, zero grace, while Mom and Dad hyped his parade. "I'm through funding his ride," I told Mom, slicing her wines. "You're ripping us open," she wailed. I dropped the call, heart thumping but rooted. Dad looped back, voicemail gravel. "Elena, you owe Liam." "Square it now," he snarled. I trashed it, unmoved. Mom's follow was silkier, a hook. "You're shattering me," she quavered. "Liam's no criminal for this hit." I ghosted it. Their lines just honed my edge, peeling back the setup I'd stomached too long. Liam Golden, me the mule. I replayed the tolls, the shifts I pulled, the shows I skipped to keep their lights on. Their heat red like a kid's fit, clawing to leash me. But I wasn't that Elena who'd bite her tongue and bleed green. My office stood fortress, their yanks glancing off. I pictured Liam, likely griping to Mom and Dad, banking on their shove to fold me. But I was done curving. Their tags, ungrateful, envious, mirrors of their skew. I'd spilled enough, funneled cash and soul into kin who claimed it due. Dad's blast, Mom's tugs, they aimed to crack me, but they polished my sight. This hit beyond Liam's fees. It was gutting the crook I'd worn. I powered down the phone, their noise dissolving to hush. The charge crackled, but I held fast, primed for their next swing. This was my mark, and I wasn't budging. By Friday, Liam barreled into my loft. The door flew wide, banging the frame, his boots thudding like thunder on the reclaimed wood. I was kicked back on my sectional, thumbing client briefs on my phone when his charge snapped me straight. His mug twisted panic and fire, his overpriced backpack thwacking as he squared up inches off. "Elena, sort this mess now," he ordered, pitch jagged. "Austin Tech booted me, your wires vanished. Flip 'em back on." His stare probed, betting I'd wilt, but I just sank deeper, stone. Then his edge turned blade. "You're a selfish hack," he sprayed, trashing my shot over petty beef. The shot landed hard, but I was armored. I rose, arms barred, eyes locked. "Liam, you trashed me at the barbecue," I said, chill but carved. Called my laptop fake, stomped it to bits, and cackled like trash TV. "You've never rated me square." His jaw twitched, a guilt spark snuffed by fury. It was banter, he shot, closing gap, his cologne biting the air. "You're hyping nothing 'cause you hate my edge." Hate! It scorched, but it forged my steel. I fronted $800 a month for your boot camp. I fired, gaze drilling. Handled mom and dad's rent, those winery escapes, dad's truck hauls while you flashed your drone hauls. I'm off the hook as your sponsor. Liam's teeth ground, knuckles whitening. You're docking me for outshining you, he rasped, low and lethal. You've loathed that I pull eyes. I nearly barked a laugh at the twist. You pull 'cause I banked your flash, I said, frostbitten. Strip my green. Your base level. His peepers blew wide, nicked, but he dug heels. You'll eat this, he vowed, venom thick. I'll blast how you're the cold sis to the world. He wheeled, charging out, the slam quaking the walls like an aftershock. I dropped to the couch, veins racing, but my core locked. That night, my phone pinged alert. Liam had unloaded on TikTok, a savage scroll blast. Big sis axed my boot camp 'cause she's broke-spirited o envious, family saboteur, he typed. Tagged me raw, visible to his swarm of followers, traction building fast. Replies flooded, his crew dubbing me small time, randos slapping greedy or soulless. Each barb sliced, the knife twist deeper than braced for. My thumb danced the glass, itching to clap back, lay his scam bare, but I froze. Fueling his circus. Nah. The ache throbbed, fresh and leaden in my ribs. I'd braced Liam's empire years, shelved my hikes to buoy him. And his comeback. A viral hit to drag me low. But as the first wave ebbed, heat built. His scroll. Badge of his scramble. He figured shame would reel me. Whip his squad to grind me. But I pissed it. Liam's spin just bared his greed, his itch to crown victim. I quit the feed, palms sure, head crisp. I'd greased his ego too long, and this net drag wouldn't flip me. My loft turned bunker, his bites bouncing off. I mulled the grind I'd logged, dawn shifts for his $800 pulls, dreams deferred, tank drained for a bro who deemed my toll his due. His TikTok ply. A meltdown, final grab at reins. But I was through yielding. His crew's digs, outsiders' verdicts, they slid off. Liam's raid just braced my oath. He couldn't shame me into his tab no more. I wasn't the heel he craved the crowd to crown. I was the sis who'd yelled halt, and I wasn't rewinding. Sunday supper rolled in, but the vibe hung thick as hill country fog. I stepped into mom and dad's Austin bungalow, the tang of brisket clinging, but the room pulsed with ambush. They'd build it a mend meal, but I clocked the snare. Mom kissed stiff, dad grunted low, and Liam slumped at the oak slab, limbs knotted, dodging my look. I claimed my chair, stealing for the drop. Mom hummed throat clear, syrup sweet. Elena, we're patching holes, she cooed. Kin holds tight. Dad rumbled in. Rain the boot camp cash. Your load. I let it simmer, air dense. Then I broke it, level but laced. Liam's chased a glow I lit, I said, pinning him. VR setups, Tesla spins, thousands dropped. Escapes to Marfa lights, all tick-toked like his grind. Liam's cheeks flushed, but he zipped. I wired his bootcamp $800 hits while he looped reels from sweet views. I pressed. 0 nods, 0 props for my pull. Mom jumped fence. Liam rates the shot, she shielded. His bled for that cert. I arched brow. Bled. Partied on my clock while I chased gigs to ice your AC. 2. Dad hunched in, rumbled deep. Elena, you're woven in. Can't cherry-pick aid. I matched his glare, unblinking. I'm off the exploit train, I said. Liam's big head ain't my freight. Mom clutched fork, gasped sharp. How dare, his blood. I held mute, quiet thundering. Their shield for him. Clockwork, but it scraped. They cast him lead, me prop, my sweat just backdrop. I shifted back, grit iron. No bootcamp reboot, I sealed, endgame tone. Liam charts solo. Liam piped up at last, blade out. Your sour grapes, he jabbed. Can't hack my rise. I near snorted the flip. You rose zilch, I sliced. Your haul. My tab. The gear, the spins, the shine, stamped mine. His glare sparked rage, but words failed. Mom surged, pitch climbing. Elena, you're fracturing us. Wire it, we dust this. I denied, hush booming. Dad fist-planted the wood. You stand det, he growled. Kin don't bail. I surged up, seat scraping. Kin don't bleed kin, I parried, chill fire. Done. I strode clear, their yells blurring, their grind, their slant. It just etched the crook I'd hauled. I'd logged years fueling Liam's dazzle, sold it as bond while mom and dad sparklet him. Now they craved my fold to spin the wheel. But I cut their veil. The supper. No heel. Just grip. My truck growled alive as I peeled out, Austin's neon smear streaking by. Zero remorse, pure spine. They banked on their crush to curve me, but I wasn't the daughter who'd dip and dispense. This was my plant, and I wasn't uprooting. A week out, the hammer dropped on Liam fierce. The email from Austin Tech Institute cut clean, booted from the program, fees dried. Sans my $800 pulses, his Code King bid vaporized, and the slick ride he'd staged imploded. Side whispers buzzed the Austin loops about his skid. No fresh drops on VR toys. No burnouts to SXSW arters. He'd hawked his drone and Tesla lease on apps, scraping rent from the hall. Local CSIV flyers stacked his pad now, job apps flying for barista shifts. His resume? Bay sans the cert he'd flexed. His TikTok, primetime parade of gloss, flatlined. Last clip, a vague line on resets. His tumble rippled out. The squad who'd cheered his scroll hits on me flipped venom. Snips of their shade pinged my feed, open mocks at Liam's fade. No more techlord aura, one jabbed, skull emojis chaining. Another keyed, guess Elena's wire was the true hack. The pack that had dubbed me tight now gutted Liam's drop. Their ride or die? Surface as his old filters. I thumbed through from my Austin loft, phone haze cutting the wee hour still. Watching Liam leveled, it twinged, but rang reckoning. He'd dubbed me sour, sketched me the fiend, but now his own pack bared his thin ice. Mom showed at my threshold next morn, drop in, pallor drained. Elena, pull Liam from the pit, she urged, midloft, fingers knotting. His lost the boot, his arc, all. Blood calls. Her quiver hit, but her gaze held that old lean, always Liam lead. I propped the island, poise locked. Mom, Liam's tasting his slight, I said, even keel, unyielding. He shaded me at supper, net dragged me, banked my lift as due. I'm off the ledger. Mom's mask set. Heartless play, she charged. Blood don't ditch like this. I barred arms, her fire lingering. Blood don't mind blood, I volleyed, crisp control. Liam picked a tab he couldn't square. Gear drops, star spins, all my draw. You fed it, Mom, and his 29, grown for the grind. Mom's wells brimmed, but she leaned. Single wire, she begged. Slot him back, we'll square. I shook off, gap loaded. No, I locked, alloy firm. Spilled my share. Mom gawked, frame sagging, then wheeled out, latch soft shut. I eased to the sectional. The loft's calm. Foil to the gale beyond. Liam's skid wasn't my win, but balance. I'd bled years for his gleam, midnight pushes, stashed hikes, all for a bro who'd claimed my sweat his score. His crew's bite, his boot, Mom's soft hooks, they framed it. Liam's throne, pegged on me, and unpegged, it folded. Mom craved my mend, my mule spin, but I was cashed. The net jabs echoed Liam's own edge, and regret? Absent. My hold wasn't payback. It was worth grab. I wasn't the sis who'd yield to crush. I was the one who'd scribed the line, and I wasn't erasing. On a drizzly Thursday dusk, a crate hit my stoop. The sharp-edged pack, foil-taped gleam under the porch lamp, sat pooling in the downpour. A tag clung, Liam's scrawl, no mistaking. Elena, bridge this. Let's reset. Liam. Nested. A Tag Heuer watch, band fresh, the sort he'd looped in his clips for years. My core knotted, not warm, but wise. This. No peace flag. It was a slick trade, bid to barter my bend. I parked the crate on the butcher block, fingers off, and thumbed my phone. Liam, I keyed, steady stroke. Mind set. Skip the props. I boxed it for haul back. Hours ticked, buzz hit. His return, Elena, hear me. Softer than shadow. Gut punched for all. Tat. I fixed the glow, drizzle tapping pains. Liam's plea. Endgame grasp, not gut check. His arc had frayed, axed from Austin Tech, gear flipped for scraps, TikTok a tomb of old flex. He wasn't gutted. He was grasping. I keyed deliberate. Zip to hash. Your pick stand. Send. Muted his line, bound to the gap-eyed Claude. Liam looped next dawn, rings twice, drop, Elena, no intent to scar, he wavered. Crave us solid. I blanked it. His probes, the watch, they weren't mend. They were claws for the rail I'd greased, the shine snuffed when I starved the wire. I mulled his feed, once packed with Marfar dusk reels and watch flexes, now mute as his squad's shade. His realm buckled, and this timepiece. Grabbed to re-rig it on my tab. But I stood pat. I'd braced his slight years, only to eat his slight. His scramble shifted zilch. Perched in my loft, a still power settled. The kin crush, Mom's tugs, Dad's barks, Liam's ploys, once anchors, now air. I replayed the haul, chase shifts for his $800 drains, shelved treks to bank their tabs. Mom and Dad tagged it oath. Liam tagged it claim. Now, arc in shards, I held zero drag. My call to cut. Beyond green. Worth reclaim. Liam's watch. Stamp of his grab, not mend arc. I wasn't the sis he could twist no more. The drizzle eased, and I breathed unyoked. Liam's bids to ping, his picked prop, they were his endgame in a match I'd quit. I'd scribed the line, no cross. Mom and Dad might still crown him wronged, but I clocked clear. Liam's fold, his moves bill. My loft, once doubt den, now hold. I wasn't bent by his quiver or gleam. I was off the kin dole, primed to chase my pulse. A month deep, the Institute's fresh roster dropped. Austin Tech's sight locked Liam's blank, a soft seal on his axe. Murmurs snaked Austin's close circles on Mom and Dad's slant, how they'd leaned my lift for Liam's gloss while blanking my toll. Neighbors who'd grilled them at block bashes now ghosted, chatter churning their lopsided play. Mom's yarn circle hushed, Dad's dart league dried. Their social perch, once strut, frayed under their call's weight. I caught it via vines, but no glee, just even keel. Liam, piecing scraps, had slotted a CC track, boot camp blaze swapped for grind classes he could swing. His side hustle slinging coffee at a Barton Springs cafe scraped tabs, worlds from the dazzle he'd looped. No watch drops, no star spins, just a tight crash pad and a beater ride. His tick-talk held breath, void of his posed hits a slap to the shine he'd slung. I skipped direct dips, but shared links spilled the sketch. Liam leveled, strut cracked, shoved to a reel he'd dodged. I lounged in my loft, Austin's glow pulsing past glass, and tasted a loose-eyed missed seasons. The kin loads crush, Mom's softs, Dad's grunts, Liam's twists, lifted. I stood unbound to their wants, their skews, their shame nets. My stack swelled mine. Time, mine. I'd kicked off plots for me, a quick dash to Big Bend, pure solo. The grind years, chase shifts, Liam's grab fuel, faded haze. I wasn't just holding. I was owning, rooted in a spine I'd forged fire hot. Riley swung by one twilight, no heads up, but gold. We crashed the sectional, mugs steaming, city pulse winking out. You're shifted, she noted, warm scan. No more their drag. You shine loose. Her hit landed true, not fresh but fact. Riley wasn't here to steer like pre-storm. Just witness the arc I'd nursed. Own this, she grinned. You held the ridge. I dipped chin, quiet claim blooming. Her line. No guide. Mirror to the steel I'd stacked. Gazing back, the tape crystallized. Kins meant to mesh on equal ground, not solo pulls. When rates ghost, when grabs go unchecked, it frays the thread that counts. Mom, Dad, Liam banked my give endless, but their grab birthed their bill, faded pull, cracked arcs, split lines. I clocked that borders ain't grab. They a breath. Yelling no to their yank. No strike. God. I'd chased seasons sold family meant yield, but now? It meant staking my rate.